I'm logged into Cloud Controller, and now I'm going to order an instance of my CRM app. So I'll select the CRM app, and I'm going to select EC2 as the infrastructure provider, and in particular the US East A1 availability zone. And I'll create a description, a tag for my application, CRM app test 1, let's say EC2. Okay, and I'll just order that. Okay, I can now track the progression of the order for my CRM application, and we'll see that the order is in progress. Can go here and look further into the order by looking at the logs that provide me detailed information about the deployment process. So we'll wait for this application to deployment to complete. Okay, so the application has now been completely deployed, and we can go to my services here and have a look at this new application, and we see the CRM app test EC2 is here. And now we have a view here on my services, and we can filter services based on what infrastructure provider they are running on. So I can see all my services, I can drill in here and see all the services on EC2 availability zone A1A, and I can look at services on 1D, for example, and there are none. Or I can look at the services on HPCS or on Rackspace. Okay, so I've got a couple of applications that run there that I terminated recently. So let's go back to my CRM application, and we can see here that my application has been deployed. We've got the HA proxy, my app frontend, and my app backend. My app frontend is essentially decomposed into two subcomponents, my app logic and my app web. The web application runs on Apache, those are the static HTML pages, and my app logic runs on Tomcat, and basically is connected to the backend database here. And the backend database is essentially running on MySQL. So if we look at the CRM application, we can connect to it via this IP address, and alright, we see that this application is running on EC2, and we can go into HA proxy stats. That's the stats page on the load balancer, and we can see that there's only one node that's under the control of HA proxy, 184.73.49.203. And so that is basically the node corresponding to my app frontend, which itself corresponds to my app web, here. Oops, my Apache. Okay. Alright, so what we'll do now is, just for the purpose of the demo, I'm going to log into the other HPCC UI, which is the administrative UI, which provides basically the same view over the instance. We can see the CRM app, the HA proxy, the my app frontend, and my app backend with MySQL. What we're going to do now is trigger a scale out on EC2. So we're just going to stay in EC2 and do a scale out. So I'm going to go to available changes here. I'm going to select the scale out operation. I want to scale out the front end. I don't want to reuse existing instances, and I'm going to scale it by 1 in the interest of time. And I'm just going to select the infrastructure provider, and right now we're going to stay on EC2, but I'm going to use a different availability zone. So I'm going to use EC2 US East 1D. Okay, and we're going to trigger this deployment. We can follow the scale out operation. You can see the scale out operation has been ordered, and as a result of that, an instance of my app frontend has also been ordered. So we'll track that, and and see what that creates. So we can see that the MyApp frontend has now been installed, which basically means that the Apache and the Topcat node have been created on Amazon, and the software has been installed. And now it's actually reconfiguring the different parts of the software, along with very soon the load balancer to be reconfigured. Okay, so the scale out operation has been fulfilled. We can now go back to our CRM app, and we see that two front ends are now under the CRM app. So one has been created and added. We can basically go back to HA proxy, refresh the stats, and now we see that we have two web servers running there. If we go back to the initial UI, we can also see that the CRM app now has those two front ends, each deployed in different availability zones. Alright, so now let's go back and do a scale out once more, but let's scale out on Rackspace. I'm going to select the CRM app. This is very similar. I'm just selecting a scale out operation here, but this time I'm selecting the front end, and this time I'm just going to select a different infrastructure provider. So from the standpoint of HPCC, the scale out, the bursting in the cloud, or it's very geared towards selecting a infrastructure provider. The infrastructure provider can be selected manually, or it can be done through policies, and we'll go to that in a different screencast. So let me select Rackspace here and click OK, and trigger that scale out now. Alright, so we can go to my orders, and we see that a second scale out operation has been requested, resulting in the creation of a new instance of MyApp frontend. So we let that go through and see what the end result is. Okay, so the scale out is now completed, and let's have a look at our application. So we now have 3 MyApp frontends. We can actually drill into this. See MyApp Web, Apache. Okay, and so we can see that this one is running on, this is the Rackspace VM. We can see here com.rackspace.vmachine. So both are running on different OSs on different VMs in Rackspace. So we can expand this. Okay, right there. Okay, that's the second one, that's the vMachine. Okay, different IP addresses. While those two other app front ends run, I'll just expand one real quick. Okay, run on EC2. You can see here the hostname EC2 and then the IP address. Okay, and all those guys have references back to the MySQL database that was created during the initial deployment. Let's have a look at the HA proxy. We had only 2 nodes up to now. So if I refresh, here's the third node, which corresponds to the IP address in Rackspace. Okay, so that basically concludes the demo. If I refresh here, go back to my CRM app. Okay, we can see the 4 app front ends as well there. And now what I'll do is I'll just terminate the CRM app on from here, and that will basically terminate in parallel the system both in EC2 and Rackspace. Okay, all right, that concludes the demo. Thank you.